Hi everybody, my name is Nanika Edwards and today I'm sharing a Chinese word with you which means kindness. This is a word that I always love to introduce my students to, students that I teach Chinese to. I love telling them about this particular word because I think it's so essential, kindness that is, to human existence and uh, to bonding between people. So what are you looking at? First of all, on top you see a square, a box with something inside of it. That portion represents that portion represents the word reason. The portion below represents the heart, whether the tangible heart or your physical organ, the heart that's the physical organ in your chest. Of course, in this word, the heart portion represents that intangible dimension of who we are, where we process our emotions, our feelings, our motives, and things like that. Now, when you combine reason with heart, you get the word kindness. Why do you think that is? I shared this with a small group of children yesterday, the script, and got their opinion, and it was amazing all the different things that they saw in this word. And you too may see things that I may not be seeing. But I'll tell you how I see this script. I believe that what the Chinese originator of this word was saying is that the reason why God designed a heart into our personality, our identity, is because He was equipping us to be kind to each other. It is impossible to have human bonding and the building of healthy relationships between people without kindness. Think about it. If you have kindness, if somebody is rich in kindness, then they would tend to also be empathetic, compassionate, thoughtful, all of those different things. And I know that typically kindness is something that people tend to view with a certain degree of contempt. A lot of people who are kind tend to be seen as weak, and people tend to think that if somebody is kind, that they are also blind, that if they are kind, that they don't have a sharp mind, right? That's how people tend to see kindness. They tend to see people who are kind as stupid and easy to take advantage of. And I know, because I'm a kind person and I see people respond in this way to me time and time again. But it's a foolish way to approach this word, because first of all, just because somebody is kind does not mean that they are shrewd enough to know how to deal with somebody if, for whatever reason, they treat that person's kindness with contempt, or if they reciprocate with, if somebody is kind and then they see their kindness exchanged for meanness or a lack of appreciation and things like that. No, people who are kind are very intelligent. How do I know that? Because kindness is one of the highest forms of intelligence, people. Think about it. Think about how much better this world would be if most people cultivated this character trait. And of course, in fact, kindness is one of the fruit of the spirit, right? The Bible talks about the fruit of the Spirit. It's one of the fruits of the Spirit. No, the Bible doesn't pluralize it, right? They say the fruit of the Spirit because it's all like a single cluster of grapes, but it's all considered a whole package, right? Like you can't have that cluster with one missing and call it a complete cluster. So kindness is the one of the grapes you could see in that cluster of character traits. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think that the reason God gave us a heart was to be kind? And then you may say, well, how come if we have a heart, then how come people aren't kind? Well, it's because people choose not to be kind. Because apart from designing us to be kind, God also gave us a will. He gave us a will that we're free to exercise however we choose. And just remember, however we exercise our will, whatever path we choose to walk in this life, it will lead us to a particular destination. Don't forget that. But anyway, this is the word for kindness, and it's a word that I love. And yes, I do believe that if people were more kind, that this world would be a more beautiful place. Homes, there's some homes that would be happier, some business places, office spaces that would be more pleasant and more peaceful, some neighborhoods that would, that would be that would not be ravaged with violence and things like that. So kindness is a very important word. People should think about this more. How can you be kinder? Or how can you express kindness on a more consistent basis? This is something that we need to think about. In my case, for example, one of the things that I love to do when I go to the grocery, I love encouraging the bag boys about, in some little way. For example, a lot of them have these really cool funky hairdos, like some of the guys have their hair braided, or they may have interesting hairstyles, right? And they have a lot of swag, and I would kind of compliment them. And of course, when a young man gets a compliment from a lady, especially if he thinks the lady is nice looking, then it makes them feel good. And so I like to do that. I like to make people feel good. That's what kindness is about, making somebody feel good. If I see somebody, they look a little down, something in me wants to reach out and make them feel better, wants to see their frown inverted, into a smile. So I do all kinds of different things throughout the day to be kind to people because it just feels right. And by the way, we cannot speak about kindness without speaking about being kind to ourselves. We also need to be kind to ourselves. So, I mean, obviously, you can say a mouthful about this word, kindness. So I'll leave it right there. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please feel free to share them. And, well, until next time.